Absolutely not.
And if David said no, who would you have been looking for?
I really can't say
She would not have made the movie.
No,
Really?
would not have done it.
Meg Ryan was not born into Hollywood's glitter. She entered the world on November 19, 1961, in the quiet town of Fairfield, Connecticut, as Margaret Mary Emily and Hira. Her childhood was framed by ordinary routine school, Sunday church mornings, and quiet dinners. Her mother, Susan, a woman of intellect and charm, taught English while chasing small acting dreams. While her father, Harry, grounded the family with strict rules and Polish roots that spoke of resilience and quiet pride. Life seemed simple, almost serene, but beneath the surface, young Meg learned lessons that would define her future: loyalty, patience, and the silent strength that comes from watching life's unexpected turns. Everything shifted when she was 15. Her mother left for New York City, pursuing a full-time acting career, leaving Meg and her siblings in the care of their father. The day her mother's car disappeared down the street, something inside Meg fractured. The quiet ache of abandonment seeped into her bones, shaping her understanding of trust and heartbreak. She rarely spoke of it, but anyone who knew her sensed the depth of that wound. It was the first of many emotional trials that would follow her, hidden beneath the polished surface that Hollywood would eventually adore. Amid this personal upheaval, Meg found solace and purpose in achievement. At Bethel High School, she dazzled in academics, beauty contests, and competitions, balancing excellence with a hunger to escape the shadow of a broken home. By 16, she had secured a scholarship, a first step toward independence. Even in these formative years, Meg displayed the blend of discipline and charm that would later make her Hollywood sweetheart. The small victories of youth winning awards, impressing teachers, navigating social challenges became the foundation for the fierce determination that would carry her through fame, heartbreak, and scandal. By 1981, Meg Ryan was standing at a crossroads. New York University almost held her graduation diploma, but the siren call of acting proved impossible to ignore. When she landed the role of Betsy Montgomery on As the World Turns, a soap opera paying $550 a week, she made a choice that would ripple through her entire life. She left school and stepped fully into the unpredictable world of show business. For a young woman shaped by both the void of her mother's absence and the steady discipline of her father, the choice felt daring yet necessary. Every audition, every small role became more than a paycheck. They were bricks building the path to a future she couldn't yet see. Her name change to Meg Ryan was more than cosmetic. It was a symbolic rebirth. Hollywood agents advised that Hira sounded too ethnic, too limiting. She adopted her grandmother's maiden name, clean and simple, ready to grace movie posters. It worked. Within a few years, Meg Ryan was no longer a girl from Fairfield. She was becoming a face synonymous with warmth, charm, and the soft intensity audiences would soon fall in love with. The early roles were a trial by fire. Rich and famous in 1981 placed her on a real Hollywood set, enduring 12-hour days under director George Cukor's demanding gaze. Critics dismissed her next project, the low-budget horror Amityville 3D, calling her wooden, but Meg refused to crumble. She enrolled in acting classes, studied tirelessly, and emerged stronger, more resilient. Each rejection, each failure, became part of her armor. It wasn't luck or serendipity that shaped her, it was discipline, courage, and an instinctive understanding of the craft. By 1986, she faced her first major turning point. Auditioning for Top Gun, she competed against over 100 actresses. Her chemistry read with Tom Cruise caught director Tony Scott's eye. The days were grueling. 16-hour shoots, F1 for simulators inducing motion sickness, and on-set clashes with co-stars. Yet the film became a blockbuster, earning $357 million worldwide. At 24, Meg Ryan's name now carried weight, her face symbolizing possibility. The world had noticed. But behind the scenes, she was still learning the high cost of fame now. Relentless scrutiny, the expectations, and the pressure to balance personal life with a career accelerating faster than anyone could manage. In 1989, Meg Ryan stepped into the spotlight in a way that would define her career. When Harry Met Sally, the famous deli scene, now legendary, demanded more than acting. It required vulnerability, timing, and a nerve she barely knew she had. Sitting before a live audience, faking an orgasm in front of strangers, she carried a tiny smile that masked her nerves, repeating the take until it was perfect. The tension, the realism, the humor, all of it combined to create one of cinema's most memorable moments. Critics and audiences alike were captivated. The line "I'll have what she's having" became cultural shorthand for charm, courage, and comedic genius. Behind the laughter, however, Meg's personal life was quietly fracturing. During the filming of Inner Space in 1988, she met Dennis Quaid, sparking a romance that would later make headlines. Yet love and work collided with intensity. Days on set stretched long. Green screens and claustrophobic shoots tested her limits, and the industry's pressure never ceased. Even as her career soared, the cracks of her private life deepened. Marriage brought joy, but also exposure to Quaid's struggles with addiction and infidelity. By the mid-1990s, the public saw a golden Hollywood couple, but the reality behind closed doors was fraught with tension, heartbreak, and resilience. Meg Ryan's ability to inhabit her roles extended beyond comedy. In When a Man Loves a Woman 1994, she tackled alcoholism with raw honesty. Attending relay meetings to prepare, she walked through grief, pain, and emotional vulnerability to portray Alice Green convincingly, earning both critical acclaim and a Golden Globe nomination. Her performances were not just entertainment, they were acts of empathy, a willingness to feel deeply so that audiences could feel too. even as she conquered the rom-com world with Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail. The spotlight brought scrutiny. Paparazzi followed every step, and the pressure of fame weighed on her chest like a vice. Filming stunts on the Empire State Building, she dislocated her shoulder, yet persevered. A quiet testament to her dedication and courage. Meg Ryan was not just a face on the screen, she was a woman pushing through fear, heartbreak, and public expectation to deliver performances that resonated with millions. Her charm was effortless, but her strength was hard-won. The 1990s were a golden era for Meg Ryan professionally, but behind the camera, her personal life became a storm. Her marriage to Dennis Quaid, which had begun with the romance of Inner Space, began to crack under the weight of addiction, infidelity, and public scrutiny. Quaid's struggles with cocaine and repeated relapses were hidden from the public eye. Yet they left deep emotional scars. Meg bore the brunt silently, balancing a high-profile career with the chaos of domestic turbulence. In 1998, cracks widened, discovering Quaid's infidelity and the extent of his affairs. She felt betrayal that cut to the core. The once stable foundation of family life crumbled. Therapy became essential, not just to navigate the divorce, but to process the years of emotional exhaustion and public judgment. Custody battles over their son, Jack, further drained her. Yet Meg approached them with quiet strength. She emerged with primary guardianship and a determination to rebuild, refusing to let the industry dictate her identity or her worth. As her personal life faltered, professional pressures escalated. Paparazzi captured moments meant to be private images of a puffy face, whispered rumors of cosmetic procedures, forcing Meg to confront public speculation on a scale few could imagine. Every smile, every appearance, every role was dissected. Industry executives questioned her bankability, while fans debated the changes they saw in her. Yet even amid scrutiny and speculation, Meg Ryan continued to take risks creatively, challenging herself in roles that demanded vulnerability, authenticity, and emotional depth. Her courage wasn't limited to acting. While Hollywood painted her as a troubled star, she quietly directed her own path, funding projects like Ithaca herself when studios hesitated and focusing on protecting her family. Meg Ryan's story in this era was one of resilience, of surviving heartbreak, betrayal, and relentless public scrutiny, and slowly turning those challenges into opportunities for growth, authenticity, and self-discovery. The woman audiences adored was evolving, learning to reclaim her voice in a world that often sought to silence it. By the early 2000s, Meg Ryan's career was at a crossroads. The Hollywood machine that had once adored her seemed less forgiving. Box office disappointments, like Kate and Leopold 2001 and Hanging Up 2000, reflected the industry's growing doubts. Directors and producers whispered about her troubled reputation, unaware of the personal battles she had endured behind closed doors. Each setback could have shattered a lesser star, but Meg had endured more profound storms. She chose a different path, stepping away from the relentless glare of Hollywood to reclaim her life and her sanity. From 2010 to 2014, Meg lived quietly in New York, dedicating herself to raising her son, Jack Quaid, away from the media frenzy. She turned down nearly 20 rom-com scripts, guarding him from the pressures she knew all too well. Her focus shifted inward toward healing, introspection, and learning to navigate life on her own terms. For the first time in decades, she was free to live without the constant intrusion of cameras, rumors, or expectations. That period of quiet wasn't idle, it was deliberate, a chance to recharge, reflect, and find a new purpose. Meg's creative spark never dimmed. In 2015, she directed Ithaca, funding 30% of the $5 million budget herself when studios refused to invest. Filming in Virginia lasted only 25 days, yet the experience reignited her passion for storytelling. The project gave her control, a way to shape narratives with her own vision rather than conforming to Hollywood's demands. That same year, she appeared in The Indie Fangirl, demonstrating her continued love for acting even if the world was no longer watching as closely. Behind the camera, she began to discover a voice that was entirely her own, guided not by fame, but by authenticity, empathy, and lived experience. During this time, Meg also navigated personal relationships quietly, enduring heartbreaks and emotional strain. A decade-long on and off relationship with musician John Mellencamp tested her resolve, particularly amid his bipolar episodes. Even after public disappointments, Meg learned to carry herself with dignity, protecting her heart and focusing on growth. These years shaped a new Meg Ryan, one who understood that real strength comes from surviving pain, embracing vulnerability, and then refusing to let past betrayals dictate her future. After years of quiet, Meg Ryan began stepping back into the public eye on her own terms. In 2023, she released What Happens Later, a small project she both directed and starred, made for $2 million. The film earned $3.4 million worldwide. Modest by Hollywood standards, yet its significance lay elsewhere. It marked her reclaiming creative control, daring to try again despite past failures. Critics were mixed, but audiences noticed her fearless return. Meg Ryan was no longer just a former rom-com queen. She was a woman defining her career by choice, not by expectation. The pinnacle of her reemergence came in 2025 at the Oscars, walking onto the stage with Billy Crystal to present Best Picture. The world paused. The cameras captured every detail: a softer, refined face, lips slightly fuller, eyes bright yet guarded. Memes erupted almost immediately, dissecting her appearance, fueling speculation. Dr. Samuel Gulpinian, a Beverly Hills plastic surgeon, estimated possible cosmetic procedures, mini facelifts, brow lifts, fillers sparking debate about age, choice, and industry pressure. Meg addressed the speculation with clarity and honesty on a podcast later that year, revealing her struggles with body dysmorphia and dismissing rumors as mean-spirited nonsense. Her candidness resonated. She spoke about emotional devastation, public humiliation, and the time she had considered leaving Hollywood entirely. Listeners heard a truth hidden from the public for decades. Meg Ryan was human, vulnerable, and courageous. At 63, she was evolving, shedding the old image imposed by the industry, and embracing authenticity. She founded her own production company in 2024, choosing projects that reflected her experiences and amplified voices of women historically overlooked. The new Meg Ryan is deliberate, empowered, and unapologetic. She is a storyteller, a mother, and a woman who has endured heartbreak, betrayal, and scrutiny, only to rise with renewed purpose. The Hollywood sweetheart the world adored is no longer just a face. On a screen, she is a living testament to resilience, reinvention, and the courage to define oneself outside the confines of fame. In her own words, "I'm not here to please everyone anymore, I'm here to be me." Meg Ryan's journey is a story of perseverance, reinvention, and quiet courage. From a young girl in Fairfield, Connecticut, shaped by absence and family, disciplined to the darling of Hollywood rom-coms, she navigated fame, heartbreak, and public scrutiny with resilience few could comprehend. Her career wasn't just a series of hits and misses, it was a masterclass in vulnerability, risk, and authenticity. Every laugh, every tear, every heartfelt performance carried pieces of her own life, allowing audiences to connect on a profound, emotional level. Her influence extends beyond the screen. Meg showed that romantic comedies could be infused with depth, emotion, and relatability, setting a standard for actresses who followed. She proved that charm and warmth could coexist with intelligence and grit, yet her legacy is equally defined by her courage behind the camera. Directing Ithaca, funding her own projects, and founding a production company reflected a woman refusing to be constrained by Hollywood's narrow expectations. She amplified stories of struggle, resilience, and overlooked voices, demonstrating that influence is not measured solely by box office numbers, but by the lives touched through storytelling, even after decades under the microscope. Meg Ryan reclaimed her narrative. She faced public scrutiny over appearance, choices, and personal life, yet she confronted it with honesty, vulnerability, and dignity. Her openness about body image struggles, heartbreak, and reinvention resonated with countless fans, inspiring women to embrace authenticity over perfection. She became a model of resilience, not just surviving the pressures of Hollywood, but transforming them into fuel for growth and empowerment. Today, at 63, Meg Ryan stands as more than a screen legend. She is a storyteller, a mother, a visionary, and a symbol of evolution. Her face may have changed, but her essence, the charm, courage, and authenticity remains. In every film, every project, and every candid conversation, she reminds the world that life's challenges, no matter how public or private, can be met with grace, determination, and the unwavering belief that one can always rise again. Meg Ryan's story is far from over. It is a testament to endurance, reinvention, and the power of staying true to oneself.